tone. Where does it come from? How do I create such a massive, crazy tones? Let me show you on this tone tutorial. Whoa. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. Finally, the moment that you guys have been waiting for, a tone tutorial. True tone tutorial. I'm going to take you guys through all of the steps that I go through whenever I'm doing, whether I'm, chugging out, or whether I'm doing like crazy solos, the squeals with the crazy delays, all that I'm going over with you guys. After so many people have requested, hey man, how do you get that crazy tone? It's just unreal how many people have requested a tone, a tone video. How do you get that chunky, crazy, super punchy tone? How do you get that crisp, classic rock tone? How do you get the super crazy, chuggerific riff tone? How do you get the cock-a-doodle-doo tone, with the, But I'm going to be going over that with you guys right now. I've had people freaking unfollow me on Instagram like crazy because I haven't done this tone tutorial video. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's been super crazy on my end. I know I've used that term a lot.
It's super crazy.
But I can't stop using it because we're in a thunderstorm right now, and I'm doing this video, but, a couple weeks ago, we just got hit, there's, basically nothing left in my town, so we just got hit with a huge tornado, and luckily, we survived it, we got through it, no damages, but it was super crazy.
It's super crazy.
But luckily, everything was okay, everything's still here. We went for 2 weeks without power, so that put me on a delay, and just so many things. They're just, had to clean out, there's so much stuff that goes along with losing power and doing this and doing that, trying to help people out, trying to give, help people who need the help, who lost things and stuff like that. So it's been, like I said, it's been a trip for sure the last couple weeks, but Christmas on top of that, But anyways, so I'm going to start explaining to you guys, and I'm going to take myself off the screen here in just a second to show you guys my amp settings. You can pretty much get any tone out of, especially, hold on. You can get literally any of my tones. I know a lot of you are probably like, how do you get the super chuggy, chunky dime tones? And how do you get this and that? And honestly, I can get it out of any amp. I can get any of these tones out of any amp that I use. I used for the longest time a Peavey Valve King. Even for a long time, I used 6505 Plus. I've used Line 6, I've used Marshalls. I like to stick with digital amps just because, you know, they're fun. They're fun to mess with. But also, I do love tubes. So, either way, there is a secret ingredient to getting that super chunky, crazy heavy tone. You know, a lot of people don't want help getting, a lot of people don't want help getting the clean tones. Most people don't need help with the clean tones. But I want to go over all of it with you guys. I want to just completely blow down and show you guys everything that I do to get the tones that I get. But, most of the questions have been like on heavier riffs, heavier tones. So I'm definitely going to hit that. I'm going to hit bass with that, touch base with you guys on all these different tones. So with that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys what's up. So this is what I'm working with right here. You've got, I'm using my Line 6 Spider V240HC amp head. And this goes with pretty much any kind of amp, that you can deal, like any kind of amp you get, whether it's a digital, tube, or whatever have you. This is, this applies to any kind of amp application that you've got. So, some of you might have this, some of you might not. For those of you who don't have this, I'm going to do a complete overview of even just like what I do to any amp to get the sound and the tone that I get. Because I can get this sound out of any amp, I'm telling you. I can get the sound that I portrayed a minute ago out of any freaking amp that I plug into. And all I have to do, literally, let's find a heavy channel. I've got this one. I've got it hooked into my slime up here. That way, there ain't no tricks. It just is what it is. It's hooked up. My little workstation here is a little junky and it's crazy. It's real though. I'm showing you guys raw, whatever. So I'll go to my FX and then I'll go to my amp. So my amp settings are like that right there. Drive's all the way up, bass is all the way up, mid's all the way down, treble is basically all the way up, and the volume's up. Most of the time my treble's all the way up too. So it really doesn't, on this amp, it doesn't make that big of a difference. But if I was using any other amp, I would totally have everything cranked except for my mids. I always, really, with this amp, if I'm going a chunky, heavy, powerful, just mean freaking tone, that's what I go with. No mids. I drop my mids are gone, it's end of story. Now, if I'm doing a classic rock tone, a lot of people have, bragged on that tone. I'm going to go over here to Dirt Classics. I'll give you guys an example of what that sounds like. Wait a minute. So with that tone, it's basically going in the settings here. Like I said, this applies really to any kind of amp. And some amps might sound better than this one even, like it's just preference, amps are preference. It's just what you want. But you know, you got your drive up here to a quarter, your bass turned back a little bit, your mids up quarter of a way, and your treble all the way up. That's what I do to get my classic rock tones. You know, don't mind the beanie weenies. You know, it's just a snack for later. But yeah, that's what I do to get my classic. You know, my classic tones. I'll zoom in for you guys. Oh shoot. This is what that looks like. Oops, don't want to go that far out. So, with that being said, I'm going to go with a clean tone because you guys, you know, everybody's got to have a good clean tone. I love to add in delay on my acoustic, you know, chill tones. So I'm going to get into some effects with you guys to show you guys, like, effects wise, what I go do to get, you know, some of these tones amped up. So going to my amp on the clean tones, I've got my drive down, my bass a quarter of the way up, my mids a quarter of the way up, my trebles a quarter of the way up, and my volumes a quarter of the way up. A lot of times I like my volumes all the way up, especially if it's on a digital amp, because you get better, I don't know, I just feel like it's more controlled by the master instead of just, you know, the secondary volume. But nonetheless, everything's a quarter of the way up except for your drives turned back a little bit, as you can see right there. Let me make sure you guys can kind of get a good view of what that looks like. And then we're going to go through these effects. So I like to use, my mod is basically a chorus. I'm using a compressor, and then the effects that I'm using on, I've got my effects on, alright, so my effects are on, basically, I've got my flange turned all the way down. I got a flange running on this, but a very slight flange. Then I've got my delay turned up. My delay is okay, my delay is turned up like a notch. So I don't know what that would be like if you were using a tube amp. Pedal wise, you don't want to boost your delay up too crazy. And then I've got my reverb. You know, let's see here. I've got my reverb basically quarter of the way up. So there's my clean channel effects and everything. You can run the same effects like if you were, you know, you can actually, I believe, you can actually purchase like a Line 6 Effects pedal. The Line 6 Pod is an amazing effects pedal. Like if you're running a tube amp or whatever, you can still get these Line 6 effects, because that's the one thing that Line 6 really does well is effects. Like their delay and their chorus is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you really, you know, you can't go wrong with Line 6 effects. Their amps, that is another story, because a lot of people hate Line 6 amps, and I don't know why. I don't understand why anybody would really hate on Line 6 for their amps. Doesn't make any sense to me. So let's go over here to my heavy setting. This is like my shred setting.
Shred setting?
Because it just sounds so freaking awesome, especially whenever you do the dime squeals. Just super crazy.
It's super crazy.
Super awesome sounding with that delay and stuff. And I'm going to show you guys how to get that too. So let's hang my guitar up here so I can be hands-free to show you guys what I do on that. So what we're looking at here, a little bit of grease going on. There we go, it's a lot better. Wish I would have done that earlier. So same setting as the regular one with no, this is the regular. And then this is the one that I've got set up with the delays and stuff. The effects on this, basically everything's on. I've got my effects here. It's a jet flanger. What's really cool about this Line 6, which I thought about doing a review on this head because it's such an awesome head. I highly recommend the Line 6 Spider B 240HC heads. A lot of the direct sound that I get from this amp is because I can hook this magic cable up into this magic phone and get some magic tones out of that too. So that's a secret also to my tone success that I've got that you guys keep bragging about, and I really appreciate that too. Super awesome. All of the effects though, are ran. I've got the flange, I've got the delay turned up. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah, I got my stereo delay is what I run. It just sounds perfect. It's cranked up all the way. Reverb should be down kind of low. Yeah, it's up like a quarter of a way. Dark hall, like a hall reverb is what I use on that. But that is what I put into my regular. This is my setup from earlier. Let's go home. Go here. Okay, there we go. See, it's basically the same setup, just without the effects. And then this is, my effects. This is the one where I run all of my effects. But nonetheless, just drop those mids, get rid of the mids, boost everything else up, and that's how I get my tone. I mean, there's really not much else to it. But anyways, my camera stand broke, so I can't use it right now. But nonetheless, that is how I get my tone. It is super simple, no mids. I just don't use mids. I don't know what the deal is. I've had a lot of people be like, "Man, you can't just do that." But that comes to another point that I would like to make in another video that I plan on making later on down the road. Where does tone actually, come from? Is tone, Is it in the hands? Is it in the gear? Is it in your, it's, I feel like tone is in everything, but I also kind of feel like tone is in the hands a little bit. But I'll explain more of that on the next video. If you guys haven't already, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Please go hit that like button and please hit that subscribe button. Go check me out on Instagram. Follow me on there. I'm always posting videos of me jamming out on there, and that's where all the, that's where this request, this video, basically the idea of this video came from my Instagram account, because I had so many people, so many of you asking and requesting a tone video. So here you go. I take a lot of my requests from there to put on YouTube. But hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully I was helpful with this. We'll see you next time.